bears any weight on the shoulders today, so try and keep it as a nice a leggy and mobile class. So yeah, if you can just relax yourselves down and close your eyes, and we'll start our practice. So just checking in on how you've chosen to lay. You know, it's always nice to notice the signals of the body. Whether or not the body is asking you to have your knees bent, whether or not your body's asking you to maybe take your arms away from itself, and, you know, have a bit of a shrug in, make sure you feel completely comfortable and at ease. And, you know, I kept repeating in last week's lesson, the physical postures that we practice should be steady and comfortable, and they are mastered when the effort is relaxed and the mind is absorbed in basically in sensation, in the infinite. So Shavasana itself is a posture, just making sure you feel at ease. And as you relax into the floor, just checking in on whether or not you can actually relax a little bit more. Are you doing Shavasana in the easiest way that you can? So, you know, noticing whether or not we have any tension in fingers, any twitching in fingers. Checking in on the rib cage. The rib cage is an interesting place to me. I always feel like it's somewhere that we guard ourselves. I mean, obviously, I think it could be because we've got the heart in there, we've got the lungs in there. But as you just take a really big deep sigh, can we let the rib cage feel more supported by the ground behind us? And then sending your awareness down to the space behind your belly button, down into the pelvic floor. Can we relax and take a big deep sigh and let that be a little bit softer as well? So just tuning in really and seeing this as a time to observe your being. And then what is the breath doing in the middle of this? So let's start with the breath as the object. Can we begin just to count the length of your natural breath? So count the length of the in-breath. And then as you turn the breath around, just let your out-breath go. And I've been reading another fascinating book all about the chakras this week, and it's been asking us to look at mantras with our breath. And I know you might have got a mantra, you might not have got a mantra, but one that I really liked that it suggested was always be cheerful. So as you're breathing in, just imagine yourself saying always be cheerful on the in-breath. And as you breathe out, just let the mind be empty, let the breath roll out. So as you're breathing in, always be cheerful. And as you breathe out, just let the breath roll out, the mind be empty. So just taking our awareness again just to the breath. So let's send our focus down to the extremities, down to fingers and toes, and begin to give them a bit of a wiggle. Slowly waking up the joints. And then beginning to circle your hands and circle your feet. Relaxing your hands down by your side. We're going to gather the knees into the belly one by one. And then extend your heels up to the ceiling with your out breath. Inhaling, bringing the knees in. And exhaling, extending the heels up. So let's bring our knees into the belly, place your hands on the knees and draw some circles with the knees. So keep the knees together, follow the movement of the knees, but just notice that we can feel this down in the hips, and then not just in the hip sockets themselves but into the pelvis. And just feeling how that weight shifts to tailbone, to lower back, from side to side. And we can reverse that movement. And again, just coming to this idea again that, you know, a posture, I mean, this is not really a posture, it's more of a movement, but it should be relaxed. Can we make it a more relaxed movement? Maybe slow it down. Take your time just to notice what the knees are doing and how those knees connect into the hips. And how the hip connects into the lower back. And then bring your knees into your belly just one more time. And then cross your ankles, widen out your knees, and just have a little roll from side to side. Just, you know, keep your back on the back, but just let your knees move. So you might notice this just from your belly button downwards. Okay, bring your knees together, and we're going to roll to one side and then up to seated. So I wanted to do this next bit lying down, but I think it's more easy to do sitting up, and then you can maybe choose to lie down at the end of it. Can you see my feet? No, you can't. There's my feet. Look at me wearing blue on blue. That's so clever of me. Mind you, last week I wore shorts, which I thought was pretty terrifying for you all. So widen out your legs and take your hands just to the floor. In fact, no, take a seat actually, and just bring your feet together. Take a seat on your sit bones, and we're just going to take our hands just firstly towards the feet. So if you can drop your fingers either side of your feet, and then walk your hands forward. Just gently walk your hands forwards, and we're just going to come to a natural stop and just notice how far you want to move. And it's more really about sensation. This is obviously quite a deep posture, but I just want to see if we can change how this feels. So we're just going to see if we can lose some of the tension in the hips and the lower back. So now walking your hands back in towards you, we are then going to open out the feet. So widen out your legs, rest your hands into the floor behind you. And just take your focus down to your right foot. And we're going to drop the outer edge of the right foot towards the floor and then slide very carefully the right foot up towards your hip. And then push it gently away. And again, just relax the leg. And we're just going to do that again. So thinking about your hip, pulling the heel in. And again, push it away. Let the foot relax and again, pull it hip in. Let the knee relax and again, push it out. Do it again. And then one more time. Push it back and let it go. We're just going to then do it the opposite side, so sliding your left heel in. So it's like you're trying to look at the sole of your foot. Slide it back and you might feel yourself roll a little bit to one side. It's absolutely fine. So I don't want you to feel rigid. If it feels good to maybe turn your chest a little bit towards the leg, let that happen. But you're feeling, for me, I'm feeling what these muscles are doing. They're drawing this foot up. Again, relax it. So sending then your focus back towards your right foot. And we're going to turn the foot inwards this time. And then we're going to roll the foot outwards. So again, turn the foot inwards, turn the foot outwards. And just noticing as you do that, your connection between your foot and your hip. It might be nice to think about sliding, when your foot is turned inwards, the foot towards your outer hip. So again, let your right hip come off the floor and you can always turn a little bit to your left. And then look at the sole of the foot. Can you see the sole of the foot? And then slide it back, relax the leg. So again, we're going to turn the foot in, slide the foot up behind, have a little look. And again, slide the foot back and relax it. And again, one more time, or we're doing it 5 times. Just noticing how that foot in movement actually connects into your hips, into your pelvis, and also into your spine. Just feel that movement into the spine. Just going to relax and then move the opposite foot. So again, roll it in, roll it out. So again, as we move that foot, feeling that connection between foot and hip. And then whenever you're ready, see how we feel about dropping the foot inwards and then sliding it out towards the left hip. So again, left hip's going to come off the floor. Again, see if you can see the sole of the foot. Slide the foot back. Again, turn the foot in, slide it out. See if you can see the sole of the foot. Slide it away. Just do that again a couple more times. The knee's going to drop in. Might be quite nice just to kind of pause into this one. Let the knee relax in. Slide it out. And again, do you feel yourself lengthening from that left hip out to the foot? Let's do one more. And then relax. So we're going to now bring our feet together this time, coming into what would resemble Supta Baddha Konasana. I'm just going to bring this speaker a little bit closer. So we've got the feet together and we've got our hands on the floor behind us. And all I'm going to ask you to do now is push into your hands and feel your pelvis rolling forward, spine beginning to lengthen. Can we let our heart lift? And then relax. Just think about your spine dropping towards the floor, belly sagging, looking down towards your groin. So maybe as we inhale, we push into the hands and let the heart lift. And as we exhale again, just feel the pelvis tucking under, lower back lengthening, ribs coming closer to pelvis. As you do this, just notice your heels. If you're to observe what's happening in your hips, your heels are coming closer to your groin. Knees are dropping wider. Heels, as you roll back, seem to come away from the groin. So again, we're still working in the hips, but we've moved into spine. And again, we're just looking at this as being a gentle movement. So again, think about maybe even pausing in this and taking an in-breath and just pushing lightly through the hands, feeling the movement travel up the spine to the heart and the collarbones. And again, as we exhale, just taking that long, slow journey down into the palms. And again, as we inhale, just pushing gently into the hands, feeling the pelvis roll forward, spine lift. And again, as we exhale, softening down. Just going to pause and see if we can breathe the other way. So breathing in as we relax down. And as we push into the hands, exhale. Breathing in as we relax down. And as we exhale, pushing gently into the hands, spine rises. So just relaxing into your hands, pushing your feet forwards. And then we're going to take our feet wide, standing the feet up. And again, keep your hands on the floor behind you. And we're going to do something we did the other week. And yeah, we've been doing this a lot, mainly because I think it's lovely. So I want you to begin to windscreen wipe your knees inwards. So drop your knees to one side, let your pelvis lift, turn your body with it if that feels good. And then we're going to again go the opposite side. I just want you to think about your knees being weightless as you do this. Let your knees feel weightless. Let them drop into the floor. And then what we could start to do is to take this into a gentle twist. So as you drop your knees this time across to your left, take your right hand onto the floor. So I'm just changing position so I can move. I've got very little space. And your right hand is just going to start to draw an arc around and to the left. Just take your hand, it's to the left, isn't it? Out towards that top corner. And then again, spiral back out and look over your right foot. So your right hand again is just going to move to the floor. Your left hand is on the floor by your hip and you're just looking over your left shoulder. Slide your right hand all the way around to space behind and again unspiral, come back. And again, we're just going to slide that hand, maybe start to reach towards that top corner of the mat behind you. And again, coming back to centre. So it's just sliding your hand again all the way around behind you, starting to reach towards that corner of the mat behind you. It's funny because when I turn around, it looks like it's to the right, but it's that top left corner of the mat again. Slide it out. Coming back. So again, slide the hand out. And then if it feels good, you can always begin to rest into this hand. So drop your left elbow onto the floor and slide your hand to this top corner of the mat and take a bow towards the palms. I'm just going to spin around so you can have a little look. So I've spiraled around and you're just reaching across. You just feel the connection between your right hand, your right hip. The sense that hand is connected into the pelvis. Leaning into the left hand, coming back to seated. And then we're going to take the knees this time across to the right. So we've got our right hand on the floor by our right hip, and this left hand is going to take a journey around the mat and across. So again, look around over the right shoulder. And again, sliding the hand again back towards the front of the mat, and again, slide it around. Just take your time to look over the right shoulder. Again, slow movement. And again, you're listening for signals, so you're just listening to your body, taking this movement to where it feels comfortable. And again, the more I think, if you can just think about your belly relaxing as you move, so relax the belly, slow the movement down. Feeling that movement in the left hip. The connection of the hand is almost connected to the pelvis. As you move the hand, we feel this in the pelvis. Starting now, just to let your hands slide to the space behind you, so just out to the top corner of the mat behind you, and again slide it back out to the top corner of the mat behind you, and again sliding it back. And again, that sense that the left wrist, the left hand is connected into this left hip. And again, we can begin to maybe rest if this is good. So dropping down onto the right elbow and sliding this hand again out towards the space behind us, and let the gaze drop down to the floor. And again, feeling this hand connected through the elbow to the shoulder, all the way down to the left hip. And then take yourself to seated again. We're going to bring our feet together. Cross our feet again in front of us. Actually, we came into Baddha Konasana, we have the feet together, taking ourselves onto sit bones. And again, bringing your hands into the space behind, just in front of you. And already do you feel a little bit more upright? We've got that space to sit. And then dropping your fingers towards the floor in front of you, walk them forwards. And again, let your hands take you forwards. And just tune into how this feels as a movement. Does it feel a little bit more comfortable? Lower the gaze down towards the floor. So again, just continuing that movement all the way to the back of the neck. And just allow your breath to move into your pelvis, into your lower back, into your ribs, into your shoulders. Hang out there. We're going to walk ourselves back to seated and let your feet come in for a little moment. So what I was going to do was take us onto all fours, but I know we've got a shoulder thing in the lesson today, so I want to just look at how we can loosen up the neck. So just resting your hands somewhere comfortable, and I just want you to look down towards your belly button. And if you can you might have got a t-shirt with a lovely little circle there, and I want you just to think about circling your chin across towards your right shoulder and look over towards your right shoulder. And again, circle your chin down towards your chest and out towards your left shoulder. So again, chalk line. Lovely, really nice relaxed heads. Now let your chin drop down towards your chest, and what I'm going to ask you to do now is to take your chin towards your right shoulder, and as you do that, bring your right shoulder up so it kind of touches your right cheek. And then relax your head back down to centre, relax the shoulder. So again, we're going to roll the right cheek towards the right shoulder and bring the shoulder up to meet the cheek. And again, relax the head and relax the shoulder, and let your chin again come back to centre. So again, bring the shoulder to the cheek to the shoulder, shoulder to cheek, and again, relax it down. And then what we could do this time is, as we bring the shoulder to the ear to the shoulder, shoulder to the cheek, keep it there, but then roll the shoulder back and tip your head back a little bit. So we're just going to open up that left side of the neck, keep your left shoulder relaxed, and then release your head back down to centre. So again, you're taking the cheek to the shoulder, shoulder to cheek, and then as you roll the shoulder back, let your head tilt back as well. Let your left shoulder relax. And again, relax back to centre. Just do it again, can we smooth that movement down? So you're drawing that right shoulder back and it's letting the head come with it. So actually tightening the right shoulder and then releasing the right shoulder. So let your head fall to centre, and then we'll do the same on the left shoulder. So taking your left ear to your left shoulder, bring the shoulder to the ear, ear to shoulder, and then relax the head down, let the shoulder relax. So again, bring the left ear to left shoulder, shoulder to ear, and then relax the shoulder and let the head come back to centre. So as you're doing that, do you feel your heart lifting? As you bring the shoulder up to the ear, do you feel the heart lifting? And then we can bring the shoulder to the ear, ear to shoulder, and then roll the shoulder back and let the head roll back. And again, heart lifts a little bit. And again, we feel that length down the right side, right shoulder relaxes. And again, relax, let your head roll back to centre. So ear goes to shoulder, roll the shoulder back, head begins to roll back. So again, keep that contact between the shoulder and the ear, right shoulder's relaxed, heart is lifted. And again, relax, let it come back. And just play with that again. Can you let the left shoulder relax fully as you move away from this? So here's the thing now. You can roll your head all the way back. I know in some lessons say roll your head and it always feels really uncomfortable, but with this we're going to keep those shoulders as much as we can in contact with the back of the head. So looking down towards your belly button, taking your right ear towards your right shoulder, pick the shoulder up to meet the ear, and as you roll the shoulder back again, let your head tilt back. Then bring your left shoulder back, and then we're going to use that little cushion behind us, behind the neck, to rest the head on. Left ear meets left shoulder, and then relax the shoulder and let the head fall forwards. And do it again, right shoulder to right ear, ear to shoulder. So the shoulder's lifted, roll it back, and as you roll it back, bring the left shoulder back. Let the head roll to the left shoulder. And then as you relax the right shoulder, left ear is on the left shoulder, and then again relax the shoulders, head falls forwards. So let the heart lift, shoulders shrug back to meet the head. And as you do that, we get a lovely spiral into the spine, feeling the spiral from the pelvis into the ribs. And then we can go the other way if that is comfortable, taking your left ear to left shoulder, roll the shoulder back, heart lifts, right shoulder comes back, meets the head. Circling the other way. So always let the shoulders rise up to meet the head, heart lifts. And then just let your gaze drop down. You can always just do a little counter rotation the other way. Bring your gaze forwards. Bringing your hands to shoulders, let's do a little circle. A little bit better than doing some planks, which is what I was going to do. So let your hands move down and away from the body, just checking on how everything feels. We're going to move to some standing stuff now. So if you've got a block, or you might need a block, I'm not really sure, a cushion, I don't know, a book, I don't know. I'm kind of saying you might need something, you might not need anything, but if you do, it might be, I've got a block there, just going to move one, there it is. We're going to take a seat on our feet. This is actually a traditional pose, this is actually called hero pose. Well, it isn't actually, this is it's a bit of a toe stretch one, but as soon as we bring the foot forwards, we're going to bring our right heel in line with our left knee. So we've got a traditional posture here called a hero pose. Over time it migrated to a different type of posture, but this is how it used to be many years ago. So we've got our toes tucked under behind, we've got our right heel just in line with our left knee, feet are forwards. This is really horrible to some people, stretching out the toes, so we're going to take our weight off that back heel. So stepping into your right foot, so your bottom comes off the heel, your left knee's on the floor, and then we're going to lay our bellies down and over on, I'm saying our bellies, because there's more than one of you. I'm not saying you've got 5 bellies like a cow. two bellies, I don't know how many they've got anyway, so shut up Zoe. Your belly's resting on your thigh and your fingers are just in front of your, kind of in line with the big toe, just in front of the big toe. So find a good way to connect into the floor. I like fingers, but it might be that after a while it gets on your nerves and you might not. This is where you might have a little block, depends on the anatomy of the body. I've got a long body, tiny legs, long arms. I find it comfortable to find the floor, but if you don't, again, grab a book, grab a passing cat, whatever, and have it under your hands. And then we are just going to tune into that head once we're nice and comfortable. Again, let go of the shoulders and just let go of the ribs. And just think about your spine resting on your front thigh. And just take some breaths into your belly and into your chest. Just feel your spine is completely relaxed. And this is where we want to be. We want this spine to be supported by the legs and just to relax away from the legs as we practice this. So I want you to now focus on your left foot behind you, the big toe, the ball of the foot and the heel. And just imagine that you've got some paint on it and you want to make a really good footprint on that mat with the footprint, with the paint. So we're going to start to roll the ball of the left foot into the floor and just keep rolling it until you feel that left heel is coming closer to the floor. And just let that footprint rest into the floor. So this right knee can be bent. And again, that spine is as relaxed as we can make it. And the back of the neck is just completely released. And we can just let the head dangle. And it might be that, you're on a block. But again, wherever you are with the body, just think about the spine, resting down through the bones and into the hands. And again, the neck is relaxed. So if you notice that your left heel's off the floor, it might be you might just need to turn it in slightly. It might be that you need to step it forwards a little bit. It might be that you need to think about shifting your weight of your pelvis backwards a little bit towards that wall. It could be you've got a lot of weight in your front foot, which is why the heel's lifted. So can we shift our weight backwards a little bit towards the wall behind us? And then we can unwind the film, picking up your back heel. And then slowly take your time to bring that left knee back to the floor and again have a little rest. And again, approaching each one fresh and new. We're going to do this about 3 more times. So again, think about how you would get a lovely footprint into the mat behind you with the left foot. So again, start to uncurl the legs. Start to find a lovely way of bringing that heel into the floor. And I want you to focus that's not even a word, more than anything on that footprint. Let's have a little look at what you're all doing. That's it, nice relaxed back leg. So again, the front leg doesn't need to be straight at all. Again, now we're relaxing through the necks, through the spine, feeling how we are letting go completely through the rib cage. How we are getting attacked by cats. And then unwinding again, taking your time to bring that heel back to the floor. You're all doing lovely, so I'm just going to join back in again. So for this, it's just again the awareness of where we can let go. What isn't serving you? What can make this feel easier? And letting again your breath be in the centre of things. That breath is a really good guide as to whether or not we're working too hard. And take your time and exhale into the movement, and you might just keep moving in and out of it. It might be that you're going to just focus on how the breath feels as you surrender into this. So again, a posture is mastered when it is relaxed. Is your breath relaxed? Is it telling you that it's relaxed? Bring your knee back to the floor, and then we're going to take this into triangle pose. So we're going to have the right hand doing something this time. So again, if you do need a block, it would be in front of your right foot. It might be you've got a book or a passing cat in front of your right foot and you've drugged the cat so it doesn't move, or it's just asleep and it's had lots of catnip and it just doesn't need to go anywhere. I don't know why I've just told you to drug a cat. I was thinking, how could you get a cat to stay still? Because they're their own beings, they don't want to go anywhere, do they? There's something that's in front of you and you're going to put your hand on it if you need it. So again, Move in the same way as you just done. So again, we've got our left heel, our bottom of the left heel, hands are on the floor. Again, just checking in on what doesn't serve us, what can we let go of. And then moving with your left foot, let the imprint come into the floor so the back leg straightens. And then once we've settled in, this is when that right hand is going to begin to push into the floor. So cup onto fingertips of the right hand, push into the floor, into the block. Feel how the spine lengthens. And then just keep pushing into the right hand. Keep pushing into the right hand and start to let your chest turn to the left. And we can lay our left arm on the ribs and then slowly turn the head to the ceiling. And again, with that awareness, look down to the floor. Start to let the chest turn. Let the left arm release to the floor. Let your hips turn and then bring your left knee back down. So slowly move. So I think it's really interesting not to fling yourself into this. I know triangle is quite a dynamic pose, isn't it? But to slow it down, to feel what your body can do. So again, starting with the left foot, bring it into the floor. And then again, surrender. And then the right hand, push it into the floor. Feel how the bones straighten. And as the bones straighten that right arm, the spine begins to lengthen. And again, it's the push from the right hand that begins to turn the chest. And then again, slowly turn your head, look up to the left shoulder. The left hand, we can slide it under the armpit and then extend the hand to the sky if we really wish. Whoopsie daisy. And then I close my eyes and then take your hand again back down. Feel as you bring the hand to the floor, the head turns, the rib cage turns, the hips turn. And again, bringing your knee back down. So we're tuning into the sensations. Pushing into the back heel and let it come to the floor. Exhale. On an in-breath, push your right hand. Feel the spine floating forwards. Keep pushing into the hand. Feel the chest beginning to turn. Follow the movement up through the spine. Sliding your hand up the ribs and then extending up. And again, as you take the hand to the floor, feeling the ribs turn, the spine turn, the head turn, the hip turn, bring your knees back. And take a seat, coming back to our hero pose. So let's change legs, shall we? So mirror what you've just done with the feet. So again, we've got this time the left heel just in line with the right knee. And again, if it's excruciating on that back heel, get up off it straight away. So you kind of want this heel to be grounded as we're doing this. And then allow yourself to tip forward. So again, we're going to let that rib cage be supported by the thighs, fingertips to the floor or the block. And again, just then think about just letting everything go. What isn't serving us? What is going to make this easier? Tension, getting rid of the tension is going to make this easier. So again, release down. And then we're thinking about our right heel, aren't we? Begin to make that lovely imprint. So the knee begins to lift. And again, we find that imprint in the floor. And then when we find our destination again, is the heel lifted? Do we need to shift our weight back into that footprint? Do we need to step maybe the foot in a little bit? Maybe the heel needs to turn in slightly. It might be that you just notice that your neck is rigid. So again, please attend to these places. Let go. What is going to help you here? Letting go and let the head feel nice and free. And then we're going to come back down again. So picking up the back, bending the back knee, slowly return to earth again and take a rest. And whenever you're ready, again, move with that back heel, bring it softly to the floor. Just notice how the head drips down. So again, the spine feels free. Give your hips a wiggle when you're in that last position and feel as you move the hips, the head moves as well. Again, surrendering down. Lovely. Really nice work, everybody. And then whenever you're ready, come back down. So again, it's not, shouldn't feel like an exercise. It's more just about an awareness and movement thing. So again, take your time just to unwind this. Take your time to come in, take your time to come out. Feeling that relationship between heel and foot and head, sorry. Such a nice practice, this, isn't it? And breath's in the centre of it. So the next time you come up, again, pause for a moment. And then we're going to use that left hand this time. So again, fingertips to the floor or to the block, or maybe even to the shin, depends where it's going to reach happiest. And then we're going to straighten the arm. So feel how those bones connect together. Because we're attached to the shoulder then lengthens the spine. And then keep pushing into the left hand, and feel as you push into the left hand, we can turn the chest to the right. And again, first just bring the right hand to the right hip and follow the movement up, look into the ceiling. And then turn the head, look to the floor, and then let your chest begin to follow. Hand comes to the floor, hip turns, and then bring the knee quietly back down. And then can you repeat this? So again, the back heel moves first, knee begins to straighten. Again, take your time just to soften into the first pose, to not rush to the next one. And then push it into the hand of the left hand. Again, feel how the arm straightens and brings the spine forwards. Keep pushing into the left hand and let the chest turn. So again, we're opening up the heart, feeling your left shoulder blade slide towards the back. And then we can take the right hand up the belly, up the ribs to the armpit, and again reach it up towards the sky. Bringing the hand towards the floor, feeling how it turns the chest, how the hips begin to turn, and then bring the knee down. So again, it's a bit of a story of movement, moving in your own way. Start with the back heel first, take your time. And then once in position, move with the left hand, push it into the floor again. Let me have a little look at you all. You all look really, really relaxed. This is nice. So just one thing to notice, if whether or not you feel you're overreaching, you can always bring that hand a little bit closer in towards the body. So if you feel a little bit unsteady, it could be that you're reaching a little bit too forwards. Lovely. I like that adaptation there, and you've got your hand on your shin, haven't you? That's really, really good. Turn your palm the other way towards the ceiling. That's it. And it's just going to open up the front of the chest a little bit more if you do that. I like that Jenny's having a little rest. Absolutely fine. Okay. So let's have a little rest. Come back down to the floor, and we're going to come on to all fours next. So taking your hands down under shoulders, knees under hips. And moving into some dogs this time. So again, a little sequence for yourself to do. So should we start in child's pose? So again, we don't always have to do a dog. I don't know why I always feel like I need to throw a dog into a lesson. So let's take ourselves to child. So big toes reaching out behind us, knees together, and drop your hands down at your forehead down. And just let your hands just kind of begin to walk forwards a little bit. Let your head hang softly down. And then we're going to use our shins. Push down into the floor of the shins and feel as you push down that your bottom begins to lift. And just keep following that movement up into the spine. Let yourself come to all fours, tuck your toes under. Lift your tailbone and look forward. So we can come into a cat-cow. So here is our cow, moo moo. And then push with your hands, tuck your tailbone under and sink down. Inhale, pushing with the shins to float up. Come into all fours, tailbone lifts, looking forward, so tummy lengthens. And again, push with your hands, bottom comes back down to heels and take a seat. Final time, rising up. So again, this might be the sequence you choose to do. So we're going to just rest firstly, looking forwards, tailbones lifted. Stay on all fours, but look down towards your lap this time. So come into our cat pose, pushing through the hands. And then push your hands forwards, keep them still, but this is going to bring your bottom to heels. From here, lift your knees and see if you feel good about rolling into downward facing dog. So hands are sinking forwards towards the front of the mat. Keep the knees bent and we're on the ball of the feet. And then let's lower the knees, come back down. Hands come back over shoulders. Tailbone lifts, looking forwards. And then take your bottom down towards your heels, and again resting down in child's pose. So let's repeat, pushing with the shins, rising up to all fours. Exhale, lifting tailbone, looking forwards. Inhale, rounding the spine, pushing into the hands, taking the bottom to heels and rolling up into dog. Bringing the knees back to the floor. Coming back to all fours, lift the tailbone. And exhale, let's come back down to child's pose. Inhale, pushing through the shins, rising up to all fours. Exhale, lifting tailbone, heart sinks, looking forwards. Inhale, looking down towards the knees, sinking bottom to heels, lifting knees, rolling back to dog. Bringing the knees back to the floor. Coming back to all fours. And again, sinking down to child. So that is one little sequence that you might choose to do, but what we can then do is from our dog move into a fold. So this again, I want this to be something that you want to do, that you might practice and just pick and choose. So again, pushing from the shins, rising up to all fours, tailbone lifts, look forwards. Inhale, pushing with the hands into the floor, curled and spine under, and again take a seat. Rolling into dog. So again, let's just explore this, and again, it might be you're going to pick and choose. So walking your hands backwards towards your feet, let your heels drop into the floor and take a fold. Bend your knees, can you come down towards a crouch? And then push with your feet back into fold. Back of the neck, is it relaxed? Inhaling, walking your hands back towards the front of the mat. And exhale, draw yourself back to dog. Inhaling, bringing the knees back to the floor. Tailbone lifts on the exhale. Inhale, coming back down to child's pose. Inhale, pushing up. So again, now we know what we want to do. We might just kind of do part of it. So ignore me if you want to. So if you want to move it back down to all fours and repeat that first part of the sequence, please do. But I'm going to now walk from my dog into fold. And then from my fold, I'm taking my bottom to my heels. It might be you're not even going to do this. It might be you think I'm going to walk from fold back to dog. Taking yourself back into fold if you have come down with me. Walking hands back towards the front of the mat. Pushing forward, the hands forward, sinking back to dog. Bringing the knees back to the floor. Exhale, tailbone lifts. Inhale, sinking down. And then just do one more round of your own choosing. I'm just going to have a little look again at what you're all doing. Oh, nice spines, everybody. Lovely. So if people are coming towards the squat, I mean, it might be nice to widen out the knees. I can see some feet and knees are together, so maybe widen out the knees. It might be comfortable. That's it. And then obviously when we're doing our downward facing dog, the feet are usually in line with the hips. So again, from there, just again, maybe relax the head, hang out in squat. Squat's a really nice way of releasing the lower back, isn't it? So it's like another version of our folds. Let your hips relax. Again, when we come back from our squat, again, notice that it's the feet. The feet are pushing down into the floor. And then again, let's find our way back to dog. This is going to be the last one. Again, roll your knees into the floor and sink back to child's pose. So again, just let everything go again. So again, child's pose is a lovely pose to have support. If your head doesn't actually want to meet the floor, make two little fists and just let your head rest on the fists. And again, let go of what doesn't serve you. Often it's the tension that doesn't serve us. So how can we let go of it? We can support the head and let it feel nice and heavy on the hands. It might be that the head just feels very nice on the floor, and so from here again, push into shins, stepping forwards and moving towards. I'm going to miss an entire part of this lesson. I've realised it's 11 o'clock and I've not even done the best bit yet. So we're just going to step into fold. I think we should at least stand up once, shouldn't we? So coming on to into fold, tuck your tailbone under and roll to standing. My head's disappeared off the camera, sorry. We're going to come directly back down. I've got a little standing sequence to do and I'm going to take it out, I think, so we've run out of time. So lower your head and come back down to the floor and take a seat. Sorry about this, I just realised it's ridiculous. To be fair, you've missed out on lots of chairs. Hooray! Yeah. So what I want to do is come back to something we were doing last week, and what can I say? We're going to try to attempt to get into this pose. It's called reclining Padangustasana. So Padangustasana is hand to big toe pose. You could do it if you've got a belt nearby, use a belt. If you've got, I don't know, a cat nearby. No, I'm joking, I keep talking about cats. You might be that you're going to hold your shin, but I will show you the pose in a little bit. So this is, I just want to show it you. There you go. So that was me holding an ankle. You might be hold a big toe and do it. But I'm just kind of warning you, so in case you just think, oh, what have I got? You can grab it. I've got a tape measure here. You could use a tape measure. I don't know. Anyway, so what we're going to do firstly is just see if we can loosen up the legs a little bit more. So again, I'm going to come back to something we were doing last week. So I want you to move your left leg out of the way. We're going to pay attention to our right leg. Ooh, Julie's iPad's disappeared. Is she coming back? I don't know. I'll keep an eye out on her. And take your right hand and place it by your right hip. And your left hand is going to just drop onto your left thigh, and it's just feeling that your hand, just imagine it's a cat. We've got lots of cats in today's lesson. Starting to slide your left hand down towards your right ankle, feeling the softness of your leg. So slowly taking the left hand down towards your right ankle. Notice how you lean into the floor as you do this. And as you do that, notice it might feel nice to turn your chest to the right as you do it and start to look over your right shoulder. So sliding your left hand down towards your right foot. Let both feet turn to the right as you do it. So it's easy to forget about your left leg, but let it roll in as you turn to the right and look over your right shoulder. So you're sliding your left hand down towards your right ankle. Again, let your chest turn to the right, look over your right shoulder. Might be that within a few moments you kind of tend to notice that this hand comes away, it starts to go beyond the foot, and you might be able to take it off the floor to your right. And just starting to feel from that left hand down to your left hip again, the connection between the left hand and the left hip. Looking over your right shoulder. Feet turning to the right as you move. And then let's bring our right hand onto the right thigh and slide it down towards the right foot. And again, we're going to just take the gaze this time over the left shoulder. So sliding your right hand down towards the right foot. And again, like you just looking over your left shoulder. Think about your head being heavy this time. I want you to lead with your head. Let your head feel heavy and let it lean you out to the right, and let your hands slide down with it. So just let your head, so come to centre, think about being centred in the middle of the body, and start to let your head lean to the right and let your right hand slide down towards the right foot. And come back. So you've got, your head is heavy. It's a few pounds, isn't it? Let your head lean to the right. Let it bring you with it. Bring your feet together this time. And we're going to begin to, again, this time take your left hand to your left foot, outside edge of it. Your right elbow is going to lean on your right knee. Not lean, but it's going to rest on your right knee. And again, leaning with your head towards the right. Let your right knee come to the floor. And then we're going to rock back to centre. In fact, let's take hold of both feet. So hands around both feet. And you're letting your head lean you towards the right. So your left hip comes off the floor, your left knee comes off the floor. And again, let yourself drift back to centre. So again, if you notice that you're heaving back, just want to slow that movement down and just let the weight of the body bring you back to centre, not necessarily effort. And then again, do it again. And what might be nice, it might not be nice, is as you lean to the right, to straighten your left leg. And then bring that foot back and come back to centre. So you're going to keep hold of your left leg. So just seems when you let go of the leg. So as you lean to the right, keeping hold of the left leg, straighten it out a little bit. It might even be that you just do it a little bit, and then come back. So obviously you want to stay comfortable. So you're leaning to the right again. It might be you're just going to take the foot off the floor a little bit. And then pausing. We're going to just do this again to the opposite side. So straightening out both legs. Looking this time towards your left leg. Left hand by your left hip. Right hand onto your left thigh. And again, begin to slide it down to the foot. And again, let both knees and both feet turn to the left. And you're looking over your left shoulder. So again, as you bring that hand down to the ankle, turn to the curve of your left shoulder. So we're just going to let the rib cage be involved in this. So turn to the curve of your left shoulder. Again, feeling how this right wrist connects into the shoulder and therefore into the ribs and into the hip. Kind of rolling into the movement. And again, you can take your hand off the leg and reach it softly out to the, I don't like the word reach, it makes it sound like there's effort, but slide it out to the left a little bit. And again, both feet are moving to the, turn to the left. And your right hip's going to come off the floor, let it happen. Sliding the hand back. And then we're going to take the left hand to the left thigh. And I think I got more movement out of this as you think about your head moving. So think about leaning your head to the left. And as the head leans to the left, start to slide your left hand down towards your left foot. Again, come back to centre. So think about your head initiating this movement. The head's heavy. Lean it to the left. And it's going to push your left hand down towards your left foot and back again. And again, your breath in the centre of this is just relaxed completely. And again, we're going to bring these feet together in front of us again. Hands come into the feet. And again, leaning again. So think about your head leaning over towards your left knee. And you're going to feel your right hip come off the floor, let it happen. Feel like, is it like a Weeble, those toys, those egg things, needs to lean to one side, and again, let yourself roll back to centre. So your left elbow is going to just rest towards your left knee. Again, let your head lead you to the left. Right hip comes off the floor, and again, coming back to centre. Head leans to the left. And come back to centre. And it might be that you think, oh, I know that I can take that foot off the floor. Let it come off the floor. And you might be able to again lean to the left and straighten the leg out. So it's that bringing of the foot back to the floor. If you are taking it off the floor, that might bring you back to seated. And then pause. So I did mention a particular pose I want to go to. So straighten out the legs. And slide your right hand down towards your right foot. Just do that again a few times. And so with this one, it might be that you're not going to keep hold of it. You might not be able to reach the big toe, but I can. And if you can, it might be that it stays there. It might be you have to move the foot. So sliding your hand down towards somewhere that you're going to make good contact with. And then we're going to focus on our left hand. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is to slide your left hand out away from you and start to arc it towards your right foot. And then start to roll onto your right shoulder. Let your head come to the floor, and you're going to keep arcing your left hand up overhead. Rolling out into our little movement. And then lead your left hand back towards your right foot and roll back to seated. It's an interesting one, isn't it? So your left hand slides forwards towards your right foot. It might be you want to go into this a little bit. Let your right elbow meet the floor. And then can you let your head come into the floor? So your left leg is rolling with you. The foot's is rolling with you. Can you lay down holding on to your right leg? And then your left hand, slide it again towards the floor behind you and let your hips begin to roll out onto the floor. So it might be your left foot's coming off the floor, it doesn't matter. Just see how you feel about rolling towards the movement. And then your left hand again is going to slide back towards your foot and back to seated. So spiralling into that. There you go. It's quite a nice move. Some of you might be hating this, but I personally love it. It might be that if you're happy in that pose, just to hang out in it. Sliding yourself in to your Patanjali. So again, it might be you just want to hang out here a little bit. Left hand resting to the floor, hips relaxed. It might be that you're thinking, Zoe, what are you doing? It might be that you're just going to go into that first part of it, rolling your left hand towards your right foot. So I mean, this is also quite a nice little movement, sliding your left hand towards the left foot. But if you're happy to roll, again, just explore, laying your head down, the shoulder down, sliding your left hand towards the floor behind you, and again opening out into our Patanjali. Taking a breath, feeling the length of the left side of the body. Again, rolling back to centre. Grace has had enough. See how we feel on the opposite side. So this time again, like I say, with this one, you don't have to go into full movement. So we're going to slide the left hand down towards the left foot. And again, can you hold the ankle, the big toe? And then we're going to use this right hand. So slide, I like to think about this as being like a clock face, sliding your hand out to maybe 12 o'clock and then arc it towards 10 o'clock. And then slide that right hand back to centre. And again, this might be that all you're going to do. You're not going to go into the full movement. And you're going to let your feet both turn to the left. Take your time to slide your right hand towards your left leg. And just notice as you do that, you've got a lovely movement in that left hip. And then as you slide your right hand towards your left foot, can you drop your left elbow to the floor and slide that right hand just, beyond the left foot, and again, slide it back to centre and take a seat. So again, this might be an exploration rather than going into the full movement. Just the idea you're going to let that hand move and roll onto your left shoulder, onto your left elbow, and again, come back. But it might be that you think, okay, I'm going to explore letting my left elbow, my left shoulder, my head come down, and slide your right hand again towards the floor behind. And again, rolling back through the elbow and back to seated. And as you come into the Patanjali, let your pelvis roll out backwards towards the floor. Your right hand is reaching softly back, and again, arc it back to seated. So we're all going to be doing different things. I think particularly that would be wise. Listen to your body. This to me feels delicious. But like I say, I don't want you to go to the full movement if you don't feel prepared to go into the full movement. Again, it's coming back to the idea that a posture is mastered when the body is relaxed. So again, it's always good maybe just to come back to that first part of it, and again, see if we can make that a little bit more familiar and more comfortable. And again, when you feel comfortable out moving onto the elbow, onto the shoulder, can we move into the movements again, explore. And then, again, if you want to hang out in that in the Padangustasana, relax into it, feeling that right side of the body. But if you've completely had enough, let's take a seat. Oh my days, it's 1:15 and I've not done the breath. Are we okay to stay just a little bit longer so I can do the breath? My time management's been appalling today. So if you need to rush off, please rush off. But if you don't, brilliant, stay. So let's take a seat. So all posture really is taking to us to this place. I mean, if you follow Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, the purpose of yoga isn't the postures, it's the mind yoga. And the asana is just one portion out of 8. So just noticing the effects of the postures on the body. And like I said, we could come into a traditional posture at this point. So like sitting with legs crossed is one of the first postures. This is Sukhasana. We could go and look at another one, which is to stack one heel on the lower heel. That is another little posture we could practice. And you could check one knee might like it more than the other. You can always switch it round, find comfort. You might think, I'm not doing that at all, and just sit in any way you like. I wouldn't advise sitting too long in Padmasana, but you could always practice coming into Padmasana and just seeing how that feels. But I just think it can put lots of pressure on your knees. So it's nice to know that, oh, it's a traditional posture, but also just to be wise and to go with what feels good. So find whatever you feel is a comfortable seated position. And then just resting your hands on the knees. Just going to take our awareness to the breath, and I just want you to imagine that just in front of you you've got a little candle. And what we're going to do with that candle is try to blow it out with our nose. So we're just going to go at our own pace, coming into Kapalabhati, and it's a really great exercise for your belly. Just not exercising, let's lift some weights, but it empties out the lungs, it gets you aware of your diaphragm. So whenever you're ready, just start to imagine blowing out that candle with your nose. Relaxing the belly. Taking your focus now just to the belly itself, and just see if we can relax it enough that this is all we feel that is breathing. How much of the belly can we feel breathing? Can we feel the outside edges? Can we feel the pelvis? Can we feel the lower back? As you take the next out breath, take a big deep sigh. And then guide the navel into the spine and hold it there. Gently squeeze the pelvic floor. And then let your breath move into the chest. And as we breathe into the chest, how much of the chest can we feel breathing? Do we feel the breastbone? Do we feel ourselves expanding out towards the arms? Do we feel between the shoulder blades? Take an exhale and again, let go. again, pull the navel gently in on the next out breath, and again gently squeeze the pelvic floor. And as you breathe in this time, roll the shoulders up, back and down. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the belly, relaxing the pelvic floor. Just let your breath now come to you. But feel where it goes. Feel the space you have to breathe. So all this movement, all this breath is all about just trying to expand. Expanding not just the body, expanding our awareness of our breath, of our energy. So as you're breathing now, where do you feel your breath travels to? Where's the furthest part it reaches in the torso and the neck and the throat and the hips? Could we feel the breath in the arms maybe? Do we feel how it maybe reaches the elbows and the wrists? So the whole body might feel though it can breathe. Do we feel the weight going into sit bones? And just let the breath now just fall a little quieter. So more of a natural rhythm. And just observe its arrival, where it turns and where it chooses to leave. And just starting again just to concentrate on the sensations we feel in the body. And here we can just let the breath stay. And if you want to move and rest into the floor, you're very welcome to, but if you're happy to stay seated, stay seated. So as you're resting into the body now, just notice where the mind flickers. Is it contained? Is it drifting to thoughts? And are these thoughts trying to tell you something? And the thoughts that you're receiving, does it provoke a sensation or an emotion in the body? Could you describe that emotion? And I want you to sit with any emotions that you get. But just notice how the body feels the longer it sits. So sometimes you can sit with a thought and there's an emotion attached to it. And just allow yourself just to become acclimatised to sitting with it, but not reacting to it. And just notice that if there's any thoughts that give an emotion that might feel negative, it might not serve you just to have it here now and just think about letting it go. Coming back to the mantra. You have your own mantra. We're just going to do it 10 times, but I'm coming back to my mantra of always be cheerful. So breathing in the mantra and breathing out emptiness, empty the mind. It might be that always be cheerful doesn't serve you. You might want to bring in something else of your own accord. So let's take our awareness to the tip of the nose and take a deep inhale. And exhale one more time. And if you're lying down, roll to one side and take yourself to seated. If you're seated, we're going to bring our hands to heart center. So Namaste means greetings to the God within you, and in years gone by they thought that within the body there were little gods that resided, so that's what it means. But it also, you could look at it as meaning honouring the light within you as well, the spark of life within you. So again, Namaste.